Barcelona have given me £200 million transfer budget in season number 2, but we still have £705 million worth of debt. And this is Youth to Gold. But we have only signed players who are teenagers at the time, and we sell players in their prime for huge profits. And I'll explain step 2 of the Youth to Gold when it happens. Last season we won the league on the final day, but we were knocked out of both cups. We also have a model citizen in the Youth Academy that we need to keep our eye on. So many players' contracts running out within the year that I won't be renewing. Actually, other than Balde, who is a future first team left back. Porto then came in for Pjanic and I accepted. And he is off. PSG also played Dembele enough times to activate a mandatory transfer fee. And we released 15 players including Aubameyang. And don't forget about the players who agreed to join somebody else, including Sergi Roberto and Busquets. My first target while we are still in stage 1 of the Youth to Gold is Luca Romero. He's a good young player. He also has a Spanish second nationality, and with a little bit of negotiating, Lazio are willing to sell for a very good price. And in stage 1, Griezmann is still the target to sell. Upon offering him out, Liverpool and PSG come in with their wallets open, whilst Luca Romero signs for just £9 million. But Griezmann is being all dramatic and he's rejected Liverpool. So yet again, I offered him out to both Liverpool and PSG, but this time for a lesser transfer fee. Hopefully then they can negotiate a contract which will be a little bit more generous and I won't have to pay him 300k a week no more. I accepted a new offer for Griezmann by PSG and then contemplated an offer from Juve for De Jong. However, that's still £20 million short of his valuation and I'm not accepting that. Milan then came in with an increase in offer of 77 million. However, I want at least 85. Thankfully though, Griezmann has agreed to join PSG and that 300k a week wage is now gone. Pedri though has broke his hand in a fall and is going to miss the start of the season. I think you're ready to hear step 2 of Youth to Gold. At this stage, we have brought in players who are ready for the first team and sold high value or overpaid assets. Step 2 is the fun part. Looking for players 19 years or below, we will now look at all the players my scouts have been hunting around the world for that would definitely aren't ready for first team football yet. But they are so cheap and can be developed into future stars. For instance, this Belgian 16-year-old Ismael Loboto, he doesn't really want to sign for us yet, but we can work on it for the future. And you fill up your development center full of future stars that you sign for peanuts. You build the best youth team in the world and you dominate the youth leagues. And when the time is right, you promote them when they are ready for first team football to replace a player you sold for huge money. Or you sell them for a massive profit later down the line. But eventually your squad depth will mean that you have 3 or 4 players ready to take a first team slot from an older player. And that is when you can sell those players and boost your finances. And of course, get rid of the debt. Wait, £300 million lower than 2 months prior. I then went to offer Ansu Fati a new contract and I think he might be trying to pull my leg. Over 400k a week was requested and he's only aged 20. There is no way I can offer him that much and it's really made me question what to do with him next. According to his agent, my next target, Rooney Badji, isn't really interested in joining from Copenhagen, something I did not expect. So I put in an offer anyway. And when it came down to it, he was interested and we easily got personal terms agreed. His club wanted to loan him back to the end of the season, which I was actually okay with if it means first team football. He signs on the dotted line for just £10 million. Our first game of the season is Atletico Madrid. With Pedri still recovering, Akamak drops into the shadow striker role. Nico and Gavi in centre mid is probably what we'll be rocking for years to come, and that's due to De Jong being suspended. Last season's top scorer opened the scoring from the spot, and then scored 2 minutes later from a corner, a reminder that he is a centre-back. We scored a third before half-time with a well-worked goal finished by Gavi. Atletico got one back in the second half, but 3-1 was the finish. And we have Bilbao up next. And whatever happens, I know me and my friend Nico Serrano can share a beer tonight. Best buds. Bilbao wasn't playing Serrano, but despite that mistake, they took the lead through Vesga. However, Benjamin Sesko intercepted a long ball and Pedri found him to fire home an equaliser. More passing through the middle meant that Pedri once again found Sesko for his second. And that man Araujo towered high to score from a corner to make it 3-1, and with 5 minutes to go, Muniain scored just a consolation goal. Deadline day and rumours are that Manchester United are in for De Jong and Trincao. whilst we ignore youth to gold and go for players in their 30s apparently. Champions League draw time, and we eventually get drawn into Group H. First team to join us was Arsenal, and we get a tricky third team in Leipzig. Finally, the last team in our group is Marseille. This is a tough group. A boring deadline day, but was a good window for us overall. Romero and Badji in, with Griezmann leaving being the best part. Step 2 continues all year round though, as we track these new young talents to see if we can bring them in soon. The debt goes up and down more times than West Brom in the Premier League though. I even bagged Manager of the Month too for August. 2 draws in the first 2 matches of September might not win us the next Manager of the Month however. In the Champions League, we are back in form thanks to one man, Sesko. He scored in the 12th minute, he smashed in a powerful header in the 48th minute, and he finally got his hat-trick in the 73rd. Arsenal only got one back late on, but what a goal it was from Bukayo Saka. Beautiful individual finish, 3-1 was how it ended. We followed that with a great result against Villarreal, a 5-1 win and a fantastic performance for the team. 2 poor performances after though, only picking up draws against Levante and Sporting Gijon. Leipzig up next. And nothing happened until the 43rd minute when it all kicked off when Ansu Fati smashed one in from distance. Luka Romero does fantastically to find Sesko, who puts us 2-0 up. However, the match was then flipped on its head, starting with Paulson's 54th minute goal. And Nkunku then turned up, scoring on the 61st and the 71st minute, putting Leipzig in the lead. Andre Silva made things worse, making it 4-2 before Sesko got a third and the last goal of the game in the 83rd minute. 4-3 Leipzig. Back-to-back league wins though, giving us another vital 6 points. Before a loss in the Champions League to Marseille, and we stunk the place out against Almeria too, meaning our preparation for the El Clasico has been dreadful. We are currently in 3rd place, but worse than that, bottom after 3 games in the Champions League group. I don't really want to talk about the El Clasico much, we lost 5-1. Although Carlo somehow sold Asensio to Chelsea for £50 million, which is crazy, they then went and spent that on Fikayo Tomori, which is actually a very good signing, as well as Thiat, and even £45 million on Ismaili Sarr. Thankfully, we worked much harder against Sociedad and Sesko opened the scoring. Trincao took advantage of a goalkeeping howler and we were off to the races with Sesko getting a 3rd. Abdi then got a 4th and Nico scored a brilliant 5th from range to win 5-0. Hey, we are still terrible in the Champions League though. 3 wins on the trot for the first time this season salvages something I guess. Joint top but sat in 3rd in the league and 2nd in the Champions League group. We can't screw this up right now, surely. Yep, we're lost to Valencia 2-1. And then we got smashed in the Champions League by Arsenal. Another 3 wins on the trot thankfully, but I've got some bad news. Yeah, we've been knocked out the Champions League group and we are playing Besiktas in the Europa League next round, which the board of course are fuming with. So my next target is to bring in Linus Getcher, a German centre-back closing in on 20, and I believe it's maybe time to pull the trigger. He has some fantastic attributes, not only defensively, but on the ball he is superb. And the recruitment team suggests signing him whatever the price. However, that price is 19 million, which means he's probably just signed a new deal and there may be no chance of bringing him in. Annoying because he could be fantastic, but there's no way I'm paying that. And as I expected, he signed a new deal on the 29th, 3 days before this. However, he does have a release clause for clubs in the Champions League. Oh yeah, I forgot, we're not in that. In more positive news though, Sesko has won European Golden Boy, and my scouts have found me a 16-year-old they rate very highly. A young midfielder whose mental and physical attributes are decent. Only a youth contract, so I'm actually able to approach him to sign on a free with just a £2 million compensation fee. Lost a Super Cupper this year, but after last year's payments, I'm quite pleased. We've won 1 and lost 1 in the league annoyingly, and we have Atletico and Sevilla in 2 away games coming up next. A couple of big names missing, we still got a strong lineup to face them, so let's see how this goes. Just a point was earned in a 0-0 draw, but those dirty Atletico players have got some explaining to do. Nico was the first to get injured through a tackle, Sesko was then injured through a tackle as well, and Akamak being the 3rd. 3 injuries in 1 game. Another draw with our much weakened team right now could have been a lot worse. So I wanted to bring in another striker option in Jason Van Duyven, a player I've used in the past to great success. His agent let on that he would be interested and not too expensive either. Perfect. So I managed to negotiate what I thought is a very good deal for a player that if we don't end up using could easily be the best backup striker we need or someone we could sell for a profit. Vinicius Tobias is another player I'm targeting who would be a good squad player for right back. Again, for a very cheap cost that works well in the youth to gold formula of buy low and sell high. Being light on the wing too when Ansu Fati is out means that we need a backup, and I'm torn between Nusa and Sheldrup. I end up going with the Norwegian due to using him before, knowing he can play centrally too, and for less than £6 million. De Jong wants a new deal. He's already on a big wage considering we got rid of the high earners, and I said yes, and I'm thinking he's going to want a lot more. 400k plus. So I'm going to try and negotiate, but I very much doubt we can come to an agreement after him wanting some outrageous bonuses like playing him 75k for every international cap he makes. Imagine that. Unfortunately, no deal could be agreed upon, and I might have to look to sell him pretty soon. And right on time, Manchester City are now interested in De Jong, so I reduced his asking price down to £75 million and offered him out to see if they would bite. Knock knock, who's there? It's Manchester City. Deadline day and we secure the deals of players. Sheldrup in first, followed by Jason Van Duyven, followed by Vinicius Tobias. All three good signings in and one big one out in Frenkie de Jong, who leaves the club. I like two guys who could potentially replace his role. One being Fatakanti from Roma, perfectionist personality, and Noah Bamba from Club Brugge, who's probably better technically. So guess what? I signed both. Youth to go, my friends, bringing in the best young talent and bringing in as many as possible, using the ones who become great and trying to profit from the rest. Eventually, if you sell players like De Jong in their prime, you will still make so much more profit. A big transfer window, but a £13 million profitable one nearly, whilst bringing in so many fresh young talents into the squad. With Nico being the guy I'm hoping that will step into De Jong's position. With the window now closed, Pedri gets the only goal in the league win versus Granada. And Sesko played amazingly well in a 4-0 win over Levante in the cup. And from a 4-0 win to a 3-2 loss at home in the league. Brilliant. Araujo scored the only goal in the first leg of the Copa del Rey. Back to the league, and Villarreal has took the lead. Ferran Torres on the 28th minute provided an equaliser for us, followed by Benjamin Sesko 2 minutes later, scoring the winner to take the 3 points home. Europa League, and we have all our players back for this tie against Besiktas. And we kind of booked our spot into the next round with a 5-0 win. We do need a miracle though. 7 points behind Madrid in the league, and the board's patience might be wearing rather thin. However, we will have to finish this season in the next episode.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
2 cups to win, hopefully, and pulling off a miracle in the league, whilst trying to reduce this debt. And if that episode is out, make sure you click right here to watch it, or you can subscribe and make sure you do not miss the next episode of Youth to Gold.